Good morning. Welcome to the last True Blood panel presented by the DragonCon Dark Fantasy Track and Netherworld Haunted House. Thank you all for coming out. And let me introduce the stars of True Blood. First coming out, you've seen him on Veronica Mars, Without a Trace. He's made Lafayette into such a fan favorite that now people ask him to call him Hooker. It is Nelson Ellis. How you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing? Focus.
Next, you've seen her on Seinfeld and Desperate Housewives. Her character Pam is the co-owner of Fantasia, and I suspect she's the one who really runs the place. Kristen Bauer Van Straten. Good morning.
Hi.
How you feeling?
Is it the morning?
For some of us.
Right, for I think most of you.
And finally, you've seen him on Medium, Law & Order, and Aliens vs. Predator Requiem.
What?
He may have logged more time on screen naked than anyone else in the series. Sam Trammell.
Hey everybody.
I want to start out, you were talking about Comic-Con the first year before anybody knew what the show was, and I was thinking about that. Tell me a little bit, before you even filmed the first episode, why did you all decide to get involved with the show?
I think as the script on the cover page said Alan Ball and HBO, and that, that was pretty much, it was funny, like it was a really hot script in Los Angeles. Everybody wanted to get involved with it. It was vampires, and it was Alan Ball, and he had done 6 Feet Under, and of course, he did American Beauty. And, I just wanted a job, too. I mean, honestly, it wasn't like I was going, well, here's a pile of scripts. Which movie do I want to do, So I was, but this was definitely, I remember it being a hot property from the very beginning,
I missed that whole thing. I don't know where I was, but I missed the whole thing. I hadn't heard about it. I didn't know what it was, and then I guess probably when you guys were filming episode 3. Now, you shot the pilot, and then there was a break in between, and the strike happened?
Oh yeah, we shot the pilot, and then you have to see if the pilot gets picked up. So then it got picked up and we started shooting. We shot 2 more episodes, and then there was the writer's strike. I don't know if you all remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do we have any writers in here that were on strike? And then we didn't even know for sure if it was going to come back after the writer's strike. We were pretty sure. But then, so it was really choppy.
And when I came on episode 4, so it was just, for me, one of the ways that I've kept whatever sanity I've left in being in this business is that I try to know nothing about what I'm reading for, because I don't want to really want it and get attached and then not get it. Then I have this loss. So when I tell my people to tell me nothing, but I couldn't miss the vampire and Alan Ball. Like, that's pretty much all I knew. And I went in, I read, and then they called me back a month later, I read again. And then I went to the Philippines they're coming for you, Sam.
What?
They heard about last night.
Wait, what's going on?
Did you hear the siren?
Oh, the siren. Oh, God. Uh-oh.
Hide Sam. And so then when I came on episode 4, I was just off the plane from the Philippines shooting this other thing, and I was delirious. And you guys had known each other for a year on the set. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is this show? I told this yesterday, but I was so out of it that there was a line Alex had in Swedish, and for some reason I asked him, I said, are you speaking Cambodian? And that's all I just remember. That's a really big, tall, blonde dude.
You were out of it, obviously.
I was clearly out of it.
I just needed my next job. I didn't have another prospect like him, so I took it.
That's pretty much the actor's life, really.
Yeah. It was actually kind of campy to me, the pilot. I was like, I don't know where this is gonna go. But it came out great.
Yeah.
In terms of actors, you've got so much talent on this show. Do you find each other learning from each other while you're working?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about this yesterday in one of the panels. Just, I mean, I'm such a fan of so many of the actors on the show, and there's so many different kinds of actors and so many different kinds of people on the show, and just watching everyone. Like you this year have been so, I mean, you're always incredible, but just blowing me away this year.
Really?
Yeah. Don't you think? Like amazing. And we were just talking about like how my favorite actor is always changing on the show. I'm always, because everybody's so good in different ways.
Well, if you play sports, athletes always say, if you play somebody who's really good, it ups your game, because it just raises the level. And that's what happens, and especially this year for me with Dennis O'Hare. Because he really, I thought I was a pretty good actor, and then I get in a scene with him and I'm like, oh boy, I better go do some research or something, because he works with a dialect coach. He has the whole history, 3,000 years of his character. He's an astounding man to do a scene with, so it really raises your game.
Yeah, I'm a big old thief. I just I steal from my castmates all the time. I watch every episode, and I'm calculating, because I'm watching to see what everybody's doing and what's brilliant about it. And I'm like, I'm gonna flip that and use that. It's great to work with people who make you seem small, because then you're always learning from them to improve yourself. And that's what I do with this cast.
Some people get into acting, they're born to do it, you know? Their earliest memories are performing for their family and friends, and they know their whole lives that's exactly what they want to do. Other people get into it more in a kind of a sideways kind of way. They stumble into it. How did you all get into acting?
Yeah, I didn't know.
I mean, actually, like, thinking back when I was a kid, I did used to do impersonations of, like, neighbors when they came over, I guess. When I was, like, 3 years old, my mom told me I used to do that. But I never, ever dreamed of being an actor. I didn't even know it existed. Like, I came from really small towns, and, like, there was no theater. I never went to the movies that much. But then but I was always a musician, and then I went to college, and this friend of mine who was a musician now, who was an actor then, said, oh, you should audition for this New Plays Festival. We need a bunch of actors. And this was my second semester of senior year of college. And I did a play, and it was such a high doing it. And it was so fun and so interesting, like figuring out character, and that I just fell in love with it, and that's how I got into it. But it was very last minute.
Yeah, mine was, I guess I was just hungry, because I'd gone to college for fine art, which, looked to me like kind of a life of being fairly poor and alone, because you're in a room by yourself just drawing. I just like to draw. So I was a nanny, I was a window washer. I lived in Boston, I sold jewelry on the carts downtown in the winter. I moved to LA because it was warm. I remember that I went to visit LA, and I was so astounded that every single apartment complex had laundry in the building. I thought that was the most awesome thing I'd ever seen, because in Boston, in the weather, on the subway, I'd have to go to the laundromat, and their laundromats never had, when you put your dollar in, it would never take your dollar. And you're trying to get it flat. forever, and then they never were full of quarters. And I came to LA, and there was this, in every building, this incredible laundry in the basement where it took your dollar. And that was kind of how I decided. And then I moved to LA.
Wherever the dollars were taken
Yeah, I was
easiest.
like, this is so convenient. And I love the weather, you know, Boston was hard. So then I get there, and you know, I'm gonna keep doing the same kind of crappy jobs for money. And someone on the street said, hey, you wanna be in a movie? Huh, me? What do you pay? And it was like more than my 4 jobs or whatever, and so I did some extra work in this thing, and it was fun being around people all day, not by myself, and getting a paycheck.
Well, like Sam, I'm from a small town. I'm from Bessemer, Alabama. We got, so you can attest, we got chickens and dogs, and we call the movies a theater. We just didn't have arts of any kind. I went to stay with my father in Chicago, and I sort of was doing some stuff in high school in which my father thought acting was the devil.
Oh, wow.
Because he like, you picking up them spirits.
Has he seen the show? Because he was right.
What does he think about Kristen?
Yeah.
I don't know, he don't watch it too often. And when he do, he's throwing bless oil at the screen. Jesus!